Hello everyone and welcome back to the CraftWorks server. My name is Millie and I am over here at Spawnville doing a little bit of decorating. Over here across from I Got Junk, there was a group project at one point a few months ago that made this cute little park. And during our charity stream about a week or two ago, we invited some people over. Now, not into the real server, but into, hello friends, into a copy, but we said we would copy in some of the builds that our friends from the Backyard server and Tedicus and a few other people that came on over to help us with the stream. Lane is currently working on finishing up the gazebo that got built. As you can kind of see the schematic here. We did have to kind of take schematics to recreate them, but we did do the little house. I got the little castle by Crispy, and we got this beautiful hot air balloon. Now, I did move this one up. There was other reasons why we wanted to take schematics to make it a little higher and make it fit into the world. And it's starting to look pretty good around here. I wanted it to kind of look like a kid's park. Like maybe there was a playground stuck in one of these corners. And I do, once this is all finished, I do want to kind of build in maybe a swing set, a slide, a teeter-totter, something along those lines up and through here as well. And there's a few other builds that were contributed. I'm not sure where those are going to go yet. I just picked the biggest four to start with, and then we were going to go from there. But since nobody's on except for Goose at the moment, and I know he is busy strip mining, I need to get back to the flower farm so we can go and do a little bit more of our interiors. I do want to finish up the interior of the Great Keep today, so let's go get started. We are going to start off here in the balcony, the great balcony area. I imagine this as a place that Sophia used to do all of her gardening before she moved down to the house and the barn. And as you might notice, there are a lot more flowers down there. I am actually using a resource pack that doubles and triples up the flowers. So like here with these torch flowers, you see that there's actually two. There's actually only one, but the resource pack makes them look so much fuller. And I did that down here, and I can't wait to be able to do this kind of thing with the gardens on both sides. I think it's going to look really awesome once it's all done. But that is for another episode, so stay tuned for that. Today we're going to be doing the 3 interiors for the keep. So the keep has this main area here that is probably living space. And since the kitchens and stuff are downstairs, this would be the area that the family would have gathered together. Maybe there might be a table here and some sitting. I don't know yet. I'm using it as the staging area right now, and then we'll get back to it. And then if we come on up here, this is just kind of a walkway, and then it's Ivan's quarters. So Sophia and Alfred's son would have been living here. And when even after his parents were gone, he was using these rooms. I've actually moved up Ivan's diary that he had left in his grave that our fabulous Impala had read for us. Then we have like just a little closet-y space up here tucked away underneath the spiral staircase. And up here would have been Sophia and Alfred's bedroom. I think what we're gonna do is, I've already staged the bed, so we're gonna make a big fancy bed with a four-post bed with maybe a canopy over it. In this corner, I want to try maybe having a dressing corner so that people could have had like a screen, like Sophia could have had a screen tucked away back in this corner. I think I want to add a fireplace over here. because it probably would have gotten cold up on the mountain. And I have a fireplace for the kitchen down there, but I think this might be a good place for another one sticking out in the back. And if we kind of F4 out, it's a little plain right there, so I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided 100% yet whether or not another fireplace would look good or not. But I've gotten some of the stuff that I'm going to need for this. So let's get started. I'm going to go into replay mode because this is probably going to take a while. You know, me and interiors, it takes a while for me to decide. Let's get started on Sophia and Alfred's bedroom. Sophia and Alfred's room is complete. I really enjoyed doing this one. I had a lot of fun making a really big, grand 4-poster bed. Have the little bit of a fireplace, although I do not have an actual chimney that it goes to. I might change that, we'll see. But Minecraft, you don't have to have that smoke going anywhere, so it might just stay that way. Then there is a nice little desk where they write all of their journals, some other reading materials, a little book there at the bed. It looks like somebody had just finished, and a little apple snack. Then a nice area just to kind of sit and relax. Over here is the closet where they have their spare clothes and some little booties. And a changing screen, and I did put up some privacy curtains, although I don't think anybody could see them from up here, but a little bit of a privacy screen and a little area where they would have put their clothing as they were getting dressed. And it's not that private, but it's I like the look of the brown, the dark oak, and the warped wood trapdoors. I really love that. I'm going to be using this in some other things later, I'm sure. And of course, as I said, like the closet has a little bit of that same pattern, so it looks like they bought the closet and the divider at the same time. And there you have it. I like this. It's open, it's airy, it did not need a lot of stuff in it. One of my comments suggested the use of negative space, and if I had left this open even further, it would have been even more negative space. Just leaving areas open and airy is sometimes the way to go with some of these interiors. And then it also leads out, and I mentioned I had a spore blossom in here, and it's up here at the top. I have thought about putting some more plants up here, so that might be something I'll do at a later date, but not today. We do have 2 more floors to do, so let's go down here into Ivan's quarters. So Ivan's quarters are a little smaller than the main room upstairs, and is divided in 2, so I believe that this is going to be the bed area, and this will be kind of a study area. So let's go with this one next. With Ivan's floor, I wanted to keep it pretty minimal. Now, I did add a little bit of a carpet and a few little books, and I might add something up above eventually there. Didn't need a whole lot in this landing, but I did give it a little bit of a storage and a hook for some clothing and a few paintings. And if we come on in here, this is actually a modded block. You may or may not have recognized this gray hanging around the server. This is a private modded block, but I know there's a lot out there. And I had to bring it into this room a little bit because my imagination was Ivan was a very serious young man. So he had very, very simple tastes. He wore very simple clothing, had a lot of gray in his wardrobe, and also is very interested in studying up on the things that had happened to the keep and below down in the closed off training grounds in the trial chambers below. So he was starting to kind of get into redstone a little bit and trying to learn how to use some of these copper blocks and other contraptions down below. And that's why he has like this redstone and that kind of thing hanging out in his room. I love this little divider thing. I actually got this idea from Empress Littlebit. She had some dividers kind of hanging off of some of her some beds and stuff, and some of her in her lighthouse build and a few other places around the server. So I decided to use that, and it turned out to be a really good divider. You don't really see people like dressing from the windows from here, so I like that a lot. Okay, now we have one last floor to do, and that's the one where I have all my staging materials. So I do need to clear out all of this stuff, and then I can get started. So one last room, and the keep will finally be done, and the interiors will be finished, and I can't wait to finally get this one done. This has been a long time coming, and then we'll have to work on Sophia's room and also more gardens and some other builds. So let's get started. We're almost finished. Now we're in the home stretch. I think we're about done with the keep's interiors. Kind of want to show you the whole thing from top to bottom, so let's head all the way up to the very, very top, and then we'll work our way all the way to the very, very bottom and show you how everything looks. All right, from the very, very top of our keep is the library slash the study. This would have been Alfred's study, and possibly his son Ivan would have taken over the space eventually. If we come down the ladder here leads into his bedroom itself. Him and his wife Sophia. There's a little bit of touches of warmth in here that you can tell a woman's touch was here. And if we come on down here, we pass the little closet right here and into Ivan's bedroom and into his office space that he split his time up between doing his redstone and then studying up in his father's library. His own very austere and a very private like dressing area and bedroom. Probably didn't spend a whole lot of time in here. He probably came up and down this little staircase, and I did add a little bit of extra stuff upstairs. And this leads us down into the main sitting area, living room. And it's raining outside. But this area I wanted to make very bright, very vivid. This is where Sophia would have tried to lift everybody's spirits when they came over to the keep. And when they came over to the Great Hall, people would have come in here and enjoyed some tropical fish, which I brought in over from our spawn area. These really cute little floral carpets and just colorful benches and places to kind of sit around. And I thought about making an eating area, but I think the family would have spent more time downstairs kind of eating down in the kitchens when they were here. By that point, there was only like a handful of servants, and they probably brought their food up into the offices above for the men when they were left over. And Sophia probably spent a lot of time out in her garden, so she probably didn't need to spend a lot of time inside eating. I also tucked in a little tiny potting shed area, and this is where my LA has been hanging out for some reason. I don't know why. You like it here, don't you? Okay. Oh, you're gonna leave? All right. And I wanted to have kind of just a nice little tucked away spot where she could have gotten cleaned up and grabbed her supplies for out here on the garden balcony, which again probably had a lot of people come over and just hang out in the green and just enjoy the gardens without having to get wet if it's raining like this. And then of course back to the very first rooms that I did when we first started, right around Thanksgiving time, the grand kitchens. I imagine that Sophia and all of the servants and stuff probably spent a lot of time down here with the pupper dogs and probably eating down here, maybe studying up some new recipes, doing things in the pantry area, and also in the servants' quarters down here. And some of the servants and the soldiers would probably use the training halls down below. I'm finally glad that I'm finally finished with this. And we've had the Great Hall done for a while now. I've done all of this terraforming and had Zinc's help to get all of that done. I finished up some pathways up here to make it easier to get back and forth from that staircase, and added a balcony on the backside, which I felt it really needed, and I like it. It's because it's, you know, another way to get out of the rain when you're back here. Now, there are some other things I think I need to get done still. Like, this path doesn't connect to the door down here. It only connects to the staircase. And I don't have a path leading to the horses up here. I have chickens up here, too. And I've been just collecting eggs for when I wanted to have some cakes. And now it's, like, overflowing, so I don't need any more eggs. I've left a lot of open areas. Again, we were talking about negative space earlier, and I did a lot of that in here too. I really wanted to leave this place open and bright and very airy, and I think I managed to pull that off. This room is so beautiful, and it might not seem the style for this keep, but honestly, this is the style that I really wanted to see in here. And you're gonna see a lot of this style in Sophia's house too down below, because I've been really wanting to get a lot of bright and airy and beautiful and just colorful, just color. We've been dealing with color all the season. You should be used to this by now. I'm gonna get to sleep. And then I will meet you down in the flower forest so we can wrap this video up. So just as I was about to wrap up this episode, I realized that CubeProspector was on. So he's going to come on over here real quick because I'm having an issue. I don't know what to do with these two farms or what to build, and he is kind of king of sightlines, because I'm afraid of if I build something too tall, when you're walking down this path, all you're gonna see is that, and you're not gonna see the keep and, you know, the Great Hall and stuff. So I asked him to come on over, and here's how that went. I don't know what to shape this one down here. Like, even if it is taller. I don't know what other kinds of buildings I'm missing. Like, what else would be out in like an industrial park? Like, that is sort of a little more, I don't know, not old-fashioned, but maybe 40s and 50s kind of thing. I just don't know what to put here.
Yeah, it almost just seems like a random outbuilding.
Yeah.
And I guess it could play off of how big this building is too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could put the edge as close to here as possible and let it kind of drift into here a little.
And kind of combine them a little bit.
Yeah. I know it kind of messes up with your flower.
No,
here.
that's fine, because I already have the red tulips and stuff on the other side. If I don't, I'm just going to fill in space whatever's left over, basically.
Yeah, so you could do that and get it to a certain point, and then maybe this feels like some processing building. Yeah, and is the idea that the farms are just the flowers, or do they produce dye out here?
You know, I never thought of that, honestly. They probably would have been doing both.
Because what could be cool is if you've got, like, flowers in there, flowers in here, flowers in here, this separate spot, you could almost have, like, a little dye processing area.
Ooh.
Where it's like where they bring them to actually crush up the flowers and make the dyes, and then it's like if you have two separate buildings, this area in between could almost be your open space where they bring the crates of different flowers and process them into the actual dye. And then you could even use your stable idea to be like, this is where they hook up the wagon or horses, whatever mode of transport, to ship them off to wherever.
That is so good. That's such a good idea. I'm so glad I asked you to come over here. It is actually really brilliant. I'm like sitting here going, okay, I can take these blocks and make them look like they're like containered, and oh my gosh, I have so many ideas now that you said that.
Yeah, dyes get really fun. I mean, that's kind of what the factory turned into, is like, oh, now how do we make it look? We never got to that point, so that'd be fun to see what you do. But
yeah,
the actual processing portion.
Yeah, because I could do all sorts of armor standy stuff with that too. And it wouldn't even have to be like heads on, you know, people doing the things. It could be just what it would look like in the process, like, you know, just having the different like stations where they would have, you know, processed the green dye and processed the red dye and processed the orange and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you can decide, is that like vats where it's like you could use colored glass like it's water, or whatever. Like over in the bee one, I have these little I have a hopper with a piece of glass leading into the cauldrons that have the honey blocks for the heads.
Ooh.
So it looks like the honey's actually dripping into the cauldron.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
So that was a fun little thing.
I was thinking either that or it could be powdered form, where I could kind of come up with something that would like a crushing mechanism for the flowers, and then I could use like the concrete powder for the dyes.
Yep.
That would be cool too.
And what's nice is there's all those coral blocks that you could put in. It's like that's the heavier texture before they're crushed. Ooh. And then to your point, the concrete powder's like now that it's refined down to an actual dye.
Okay, that's really, really good idea. I'm glad I recorded that, so I'll remember.
Oh boy, it was being recorded.
Not all of it, just this last little bit.
I don't care.
I figured as much. I am so excited. I think we know what we're going to do now. And unfortunately, I did not record the bit where I said goodbye to Cube because I had to go. I had to go make dinner, and it's raining again, I see. But anyway, we now have a plan on... We need to make a color factory. We need to have a production line out here for where all the colors and dyes were created, and that was an amazing idea. Thank you so much, Cube, for kind of walking me through... Well, you know, just Sometimes you need a brain dump with another human being to come up with ideas. So don't hesitate to ask for help when you need it. I needed help. I was not sure what to do with this idea, and he just kind of, we talked it through for a little bit, and he's like, well, where did they produce the dyes? Where did they, you know, how are they stocking the flour, the 5-in-dye, and stuff like that? And the perfect idea. So now I have to figure out how to implement it and cover these two up. But I love the idea of kind of having maybe 2 buildings. And I could probably make this one a little taller than I would think because of the way the sightlines are. He's like, well, once you're up here, the trees don't cover it up. And anyway, great ideas. I hope you all had a great time with the interiors. I know this was a lot of kind of rushed stuff and a lot of time lapses and not a lot of talking. I hope you enjoy that. If you want more talking, let me know. I tend to talk a lot. But anyway, have a great week. Love you all very, very much. Give yourselves a hug from me. I am so looking forward to even more stuff, and we are going to be doing more and more tutorials and interiors and stuff in the gray box and more stuff here at CraftWorks. I do have some plans for some things that I want to do out at Spawn too, so stay tuned for all that, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. It's rain. Why aren't you inside? It's raining. Come on, I know your stuff. Ugh. There you go.